Hello and welcome to this edition of Consider This with Charles Lake on Patreon. I believe you saw my show on YouTube and would like to get the background information, and everything's going to be in the background writings. I'll have all the PDFs you can download and have for your own documentation, or to go and show your friends, or whatever you want to do. So let's go over to this is the letter I wrote to my congressman, which you may have seen on Patreon. This is Congressman Panetta. They saw me at the town hall. They said they'd share it. So we're gonna go through this a little bit, if you haven't. CEOs' salaries they don't base the Social Security contribution and benefit base on CEO salaries or anything like that. So this is the problem with Social Security. The rich do not pay their fair share. Well, workers pay either 6.2% of their pay if they're employed by a company, or independent contractors like I was when I got poisoned pay 12.4% of their pay, up to a certain amount that Social Security sets, which is the contribution and benefit base. Here in 2025, that amount is $176,100. I would like it raised to $1 million. Democratic Representative John Larson's, he wants to raise it to $400,000. And I think that would be a slap in the face to all the workers, because we still don't get nowhere near what the people that make the rules and regulations for these companies, we're not even trying to hold them accountable for all the damage they have done to the workers and to the people of the United States, our children that are coming down with diseases we've never had before, or that are like autism. We've had autism in the past, but not to the extent that we have today. And that's because a lot of things are just done half-assed, and, well, what they don't know won't hurt them, and it hurts us. So, with Trump and Elon Musk, I don't see anything happening until either we have such a majority in the Democratic side, either both the Senate and the House, that would override Trump's veto, or Trump's out of power, and we have Democrat all the way down like we have Republicans right now. So, in 1992, when I was poisoned, I was making between $85,000 and $90,000 a year. The contribution and benefit base was $55,000, and I can show you right here where I found that. And this is the and this I found on the Social Security site. I don't know if it's up anymore. That's why I'm making them available in PDFs. And in 1992, it was $55,000. And in 2025, it shows So this is how much it's gone up. But the pay that you get from Social Security don't go up that far. And I haven't been able to get a good sense of that. So, and to put this in perspective, I downloaded the history of the Federal Minimum Wage Act. The rates on the federal, okay? In 1938, it was a quarter. 25 cents is what the minimum wage was in 1938. In 1940, it went all the way up to 40 cents. We didn't get up to $1 till 1956. 1961, we got up to $1.15. And as you can see, it's been a slow climb. And so in 1992, when I was poisoned, it was 4.25. So I was making a very good wage, between $85,000 and $90,000 a year. Because somebody that's making 4.25 an hour, they're only making like $200, if $200 a week. So, and as we go up, it takes forever to get up to 7.25. And that's in 2009. And it hasn't gone up since. The federal minimum wage has not gone up since 2009. So I just wanted to show you, and all you Gen Zs and everybody that's been born from 2000 and up, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we were slave labor back in the day. I am going to be 70 years old this year. And most of my life, I worked as slave labor for pennies on the dollar. Because these corporations were making mega dollars. And we were making 94% of the people in the United States paying the Social Security 100%. And that's because we don't have a minimum wage that makes it accessible to get an apartment, get your food, have your car, pay your insurance, pay the insurance on your house. There's on $7.25 an hour, and I now live in a little apartment, and I pay $2,500 a month here in California. But I have no choice because my health, when I got poisoned in 92, everything keeps steamrolling. And I have so many diseases, I don't know which way to turn. And I started this because I'm afraid that Elon Musk, who says Social Security is a Ponzi scheme, it's because he don't pay Social Security. He takes a loan against his corporation and then uses that to buy his houses and everything. And I think he should pay Social Security tax on that money because he's not using it to buy another corporation or to upgrade his corporation. He's using it for his personal use. But I'm not one that writes for Congress. So we go back to here, and John Larson wants to bring it up too, and this is some of what they have in the, and this is all going to be on there, so don't worry about us going through it kind of fast, because this page really great, and you get links off of here. Don't know if they're going to work if they take them down, but what you can do is you can take the name of it and put it in Google or whatever you use, and see if you can get it back up. I do it in Edge, Google, and several other search engines, and because some of them won't bring it up. Microsoft is kind of Republican based, I found. So it's but here's the text, and this is going to be there, and it is. We do have a bunch of Democratic signatures, whether some of them are still there or not because of elections. But this is part of the reason why everything is based on workers' salaries. It's not on the chief executive salaries. And 50%, or the mean, or this is the average of and chief executive officer salary. This is the average. 50% of them make this. 10% make this. 25% make this. 50%. And then you got 75% here and 90 here, which kind of weird. But this is what they say about it. And a lot of this is they give you. So these people here, within 60 to 90 days, their Social Security is all paid, because they only have to pay taxes on $176,100. And if you're making this, just like when I was working, I made 85 to 90,000 a year. So I made 30 to 35,000 more than the 55,500 that was based on the Social Security base. So, and I thought I would have been making a lot more, a living wage. And I had my wife, my daughter, and 3 stepchildren. Plus I was paying child support for 3 other kids that the state of Connecticut took away, even though they gave me the sickest child because they couldn't find a place to put her other than my house. So they told me I was an unfit parent for the other 3, but gave me the sickest one to raise along with my 3 stepchildren and my wife. And my wife and I figure we done a respectable job with that child, because when the doctors told us that the most we could hope for was that she would find somebody to marry her, and which she did, and the last I knew, because her husband won't let her talk to us, she was a loan officer at a bank, and I'm not going to say which bank. So, at $590 a month, or $7,800 a year, compared to the $85,000 to $90,000 a year, I wasn't even making 10% of what we were used to. So my wife had to go to work, but she didn't have to work when I was working. And Here again, I show that it was $4.25 an hour. So the gross people would make would be $170. And this is the other thing. People that work for these companies put their blood, sweat, and tears into these companies for nothing. For what? Now the federal minimum wage is $7 and something. What was it? It's $7.25, and people are getting hurt. You cut your hands. You. I've had broken limbs. I have broken toes. I've had, working at companies, and workman's comp will pick up, nobody thinks about these things, and so you're paying more for medical, and that's why we should have Medicaid for all. But I'm not going there right now. I'll just mention it. These people, $7.25. Minimum wage from 1938 to 2009 went up by $7. Think of that. And what did the CEO's pays go up to? You gotta laugh. If you don't laugh, you cry. So, and Social Security is based on workers' salary, and it's not even the higher wage workers that the foremans and stuff that get paid up into $100,000 or so, or $200,000. It's just ridiculous, And to raise it to $400,000, it's a slap in the face to 94% of the workers that work in the United States. Okay, so we got to here. Now, this is I brung this up to my senator, Adam Schiff, and you can read this whole document. It'll be on the website, and he is for the $400,000, but it's a slap in the face to the firefighters and the police officers which I have no use for police officers right now with the way ICE is acting, or a lot of the other police officers that kind of work with them, even though they shouldn't. Like Adam, I support the bill, but he's not. And I wrote to the other senator. There's his name, Alex. Just call him Alex because I don't want to butcher his last name. I have problems. I've had since my poisoning in '92. I've had heart attacks, strokes, migraine-induced strokes. That's why I wear the funny glasses, because the refresh rate on the monitor bothers gives me complex migraines that last for months, and it's real hard to get rid of, and they lead to strokes and stuff. But I sent him the same information that I sent Senator, what was his name there? Schiff. and he gave me his basic, well, we got your information. We really didn't read it, but okay, we'll give you this letter and hope we appease you. This is the Democrats are just about as bad as the Republicans. That's why I'm an independent. It's just ridiculous. And so I wanted to bring out some of the highest paying wages. And this was just put out. I just downloaded it today. Just because I wanted to see what some of the highest paying wages are. And positions. And this is it's not that they all make just this amount. This is the average, or the mean, what they call it. The average pay for these kind of, a lot of them I ain't even going to try to say, because some of the strokes took a real good toll on me, and I have problems with my speech. So please feel that radiologist, and it seems like anybody in the medical field gets about the same amount of pay. So I don't know how good the research was for this, but dermatologist, cardiologist, it seems like they all get the same amount of pay. But these are just the people that, okay, the same price came all the way down to here. Now, family medicine, they get less. You would think that your GP or your family physician should make the same as, because you got to go to them before you get to the other guy. And I guess it's because they specialize that they get a few dollars more. But general internists get less than family, and airplane pilots get a little bit less, 10,000 less than general internists. So, and that's all they had listed. I do have this here, the average salary in the U.S., and this is kind of really, unless you know how to go through, but it tells you the average salary by state. Massachusetts was the highest in 2024, and with the average, and Mississippi was the lowest earning. So I mean, I'm going to put that on there too, but we can go down here and take a look at the map. So not for nothing, but the Democratic states, for the most part, are doing pretty good. And the really staunch Republican states ain't doing so well. So Mississippi, which is, yeah. So that's something to think about when you're going to move from one state to another. Try to figure out which one will be suitable for what kind of life you want to live. You want to live in a poor state, or, and these are just the averages, so Just something to think about. But again, workers are paying for Social Security. And I believe last year it was $3,500 was the most that Social Security would pay out. And that went to millionaires and billionaires because they're trying to make it right. Now, if you made $20 million or even $1 million for the last 5 years of your working history, that should mean that your house is paid off, your cars are paid, and you have money in the bank. Why do these people make $3,500 on Social Security when they didn't put the sweat equity into it? They didn't do their due diligence figuring out how their product is going to hurt the public and their employees. This is a huge problem. Nobody takes sweat equity into consideration. So the workers are out there putting their blood, sweat, and tears into the products, and they're getting stepped on by the companies and by the government when it comes time for them to retire or when it comes time when they get hurt. Like I said, I kept hearing this all 33 years now. Oh, you look like you could work. Here's something from John, and this is about Medicare, but Medicaid. But this is what a Republican thinks, and I got this from my friends in New York that were Republicans on Social Security because they got hurt, and they used to tell me, "Oh, you should get a job and go back to work because Social Security in here they're collecting the same Social Security I am. They're getting a different amount because I don't know why, but some of the most common disabilities along, and Down syndrome. Now, people can work with Down syndrome, but they have to have special, it's not special places, but a little bit of help, I've had friends with Down syndrome, especially when I was a kid. I had one friend, he was the only one I knew, his name was Billy. I never remember his last name, but we were kids, and he was smart on weaving stuff and all kinds of stuff that a lot of us couldn't do. But they made fun of him because he had Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, spinal cord injury. I mean, all this stuff here, traumatic brain injuries, Parkinson's disease. I mean, this is just a cruel son of a bitch. I'm sorry for my language, but Senator John Kennedy and the rest of the people that think like this, they're just cruel. They're just disgusting. And I had another clip here that I put up. And it's a huge scandal that Elon Musk, J.D. Vance, and Trump are lying about fraud. And they lie about fraud because they create fraud. Now, Trump, 34 fraud counts against convictions. Musk, because he's the richest man in the world, he seems to be gliding. It's got to be somebody that can put him in his place. And J.D. Vance, he's just a grifter. He changes from what you never. It's like putting on a pair of pants. You never know which pants he's going to put on that day. Whether he's going to be an idiot or a complete disgrace to the nation. So, and most of the time he's a complete disgrace to the nation. So that's the way I look at it. So I'm hoping that we can get something done, but like I say, it ain't gonna get done. And we only have a two-party system. We should have a three-party system, seeing that most of us are independents, but we can't get an independent other than Bernie and I can't remember the other guy's name that's an independent that's out of Maine. But we gotta, if we had a three-party system, we probably wouldn't be in this mess we're in today. So again, I'm hoping that I hope that we can get through this and we can get this here, at least raise it to a minimum of $1 million. Social Security, and that don't mean that workers have to pay. It means that they're still charging 6.2% of your pay, or 12.4 if you're an independent contractor. And it means that people right now, when you hit $176,100, you can stop paying you stop paying Social Security tax. Moving it up to $1 million means that all the people that stop paying at $176,100 will have to pay up to $1 million. So that brings that much more into Social Security. And like I say, Elon Musk says it's a Ponzi scheme, but he's a complete and utter ass because he has no idea how Social Security works, how it makes people whole. It's not making people whole now. We're living below the poverty rate. I mean, hell, I'm getting what? At $1,200 a month, I'm getting about 13 something thousand a year. I mean, come on. And I'm expected to pay $2,500 for rent. I'm expected to pay for my car payment. I'm expected to pay for insurance and my food and everything like that. And there's no way. I mean, we don't have any children home anymore. But why do my children have to pay for me when I made a good living when I worked? It wasn't my fault that the food product was poisonous, because that's what I was poisoned by, the polystyrene food containers. And that's why I do a lot of stuff about plastic and polystyrene and show you how it hurts you. And that's going to be, and I started doing this show again because I'm afraid I'm going to get kicked off of Social Security and Medicare and everything that pays my bills. Like I said, I've had 5 heart attacks and 7 migraine-induced strokes, and now I'm getting the migraines back. The last migraine-induced stroke I had was in '99, and now this year in 2025, I started getting the migraines back. And I wear these because it helps with the refresh rate, and I don't get a headache. I've had my thyroid removed with 4 different kinds of cancer. 2 of them didn't even belong in the thyroid. I've had diabetes since several months after I got poisoned, and that's one of the side effects. And that's diabetes is another way to get on Social Security. Having strokes is another way of getting on Social Security. Having a heart attack is a way to get on Social Security. The list goes on and on. I have asbestosis because not only did we haul food product, but we hauled asbestos out of Asbestos, Quebec, and there's no way to clean an asbestos trailer. But they allow you to haul a food product in an asbestos trailer or anything else, yet you can't walk into a building that has asbestos in it until they get the asbestos out. So how stupid is that? You know, if you can't walk into a building with asbestos in it, why should your food be hauled in a trailer that had asbestos in it? I hauled a load of toxic waste once, and I did some shows back in the 90s with this gentleman over in Connecticut. And he used to bring this up all the time. I hauled a load from Newark, New Jersey to Trenton, New Jersey. My company would haul anything. And so I backed in, and they put all these junk chemicals, mostly unknown. The labels were ripped off, and they were leaking and everything, and some of them were 5 gallons, some of them were 2 gallons, some of them were 55 gallons, some of them were 30 gallons, but they loaded this into the trailer. And the hour to an hour and a half, I might have stopped for a break, so we'll give it an hour and a half to go from Newark, New Jersey to Trenton, New Jersey. This stuff was leaking on the floor of the trailer. And I pulled into the like I say, I can't speak proper. They burnt the chemicals in an incinerator. And we opened the door, and a cloud came out, and they ran out and closed the doors of the trailer. And I had alphabet soup there. I had the FDA, the DOC, the Jersey, the Federals, and everything. Took a day and a half to unload that trailer. Where'd that trailer go next? Now, before you pick up food, all that's required, it's not even required, it's a courtesy, is that you sweep the trailer. How do you sweep chemicals that leaked into the floor out of the vehicle? How do you sweep the asbestos? When you sweep asbestos, it goes up and clings to the walls. So how do you get the asbestos out of the trailer? That's why they say when you haul asbestos, the trailer can't be cleaned. How do you get the stuff out of the trailer? You don't. It makes it look good. So then I went to Giorgio Mushrooms in Temple, Pennsylvania, and hauled a load of fresh mushrooms up to Windsor Locks, Connecticut, to Finest Food Mart, and they were delivered anywhere the Finest stores were back in I think that was in 91 or beginning of 92, just before I got hurt or got poisoned. And I was being poisoned the whole time I was hauling the polystyrene food containers because of the off gases of the styrene, the benzene, and everything that came out of them. So I'm hoping you learned something from this, and I'm hoping that you will come to my site and be a patron so that I can at least live if they take my what little Social Security I'm getting along with my Medicare. So I thank you for listening. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you stay well. And please, pass this around to others, and let's get this going. And like I said, I'll be doing shows on the plastic in the blood, and this is not a good. It's not a good time to live in the United States right now. Have a good day and take care.